welcome to MBA Rewired, the podcast where we are in conversation with industry experts to explore certain career paths that are most sought after by MBA graduates today. In this episode, we are exploring the career path of marketing and trying to understand what are the skills that are required today, where does the gaps exist in skills, and where is it headed today in this world. To answer all of these questions, we are joined by Ms. Shilpa Dureja Puri, who is Director of Marketing at Samsung India and also an alum of IMI Delhi. Hi Shilpa and welcome to the podcast and welcome back to the campus.
Thank you so much, Farhana. It's a joy and a privilege to be here. It's absolutely special because one, coming back feels like a homecoming, and also this place has played such an important role in shaping how I think. I'm really looking forward to the conversation.
And we are really excited to learn more about the career track of marketing. But before we begin there, we want to learn more about you and
Sure.
what drew you to a career in marketing.
Sure. See, for marketing, for me, has always been about understanding people deeply and helping businesses respond meaningfully. But if I trace back, and I think it's got to do with the training I've had as being a journalist. As a journalist, you're always asking questions. Why has this happened? Why do people believe in it? Why are they saying what they're saying? What's beneath the
Right.
surface? Is it really what
Yeah.
they mean when they say it? And I think that curiosity stayed with me. And I've, over a period of time, and not just, then I think it just happens to you as life happens, I realized that the fundamentals of marketing are really the same. You're trying to understand human
Yes.
behavior. You're trying to understand why did they choose what they chose. Do they really mean, or are there any constraints in what they're choosing? How does their behavior turn over a period of time? And really, how can we help respond to that? I think that curiosity is what got me to marketing. But over a period of my career of over 2 decades now, I've had that opportunity to work across different environments, both B2C and B2B,
Right.
across telecom, media, technology, even fast-moving consumer goods and Alcobev. What's that given me is across industries, an entire platform to work with, where you realize that the context kept changing, but the fundamentals remain the same. And this whole structured lens that you get about seeing and understanding consumer came from the studies at IMI, because you knew your curiosity, but it gave it a certain structure and grounding of fundamentals of understanding who's the consumer, what's the caste conversation, what's the consumer, what's the convenience, what's the commerce, and putting all of that in a framework helped allow to say, how does marketing lead? And in all of that career span that I've had, I've consciously moved out of different contexts, because I feel if the fundamentals remain the same and you're looking to apply that into different things, is where your professional growth happens, because at every transition, you're rethinking, you're relearning, you're applying, and then you're adapting the same fundamentals in different ways. And in a way, that's given me is this opportunity to build my career, which it has both range and depth. And so if I was to look back and connect the dots, it's my initial curiosity that naturally led into taking marketing as something that I call my own. And that's where it's been all these years.
So, of course, journalism has played a big role in how you think, how you sort of navigate the landscape of marketing today. But what about an MBA? Do you think an MBA made you sort of made it easier, or did it make a difference in how you approach marketing?
Indeed did. See, when you understood the curiosity about consumer and cost and applying, what's most important is a stakeholder play out, right? Now your stakeholder with businesses is always about growth,
Right.
about business, about building impact. Now marketing is not just activities, it's relating back to impact. But what MBA drives for you is a structured lens. It gave me the fundamentals and the grounding to understand how to connect the customer to an activity, to finance, to budgeting, to allocation, to media
Right.
and marketing, and also organizational behavior. A lot of times you're cross-functionally interacting with people, you're working across the realms, you're working with data, you're working with technology, you're collaborating. And all of that, along with the MBA learning, got you to learn and understand. And that understanding came from my
MBA.
MBA days. Yeah.
Right. So marketing has always been something that has been very glamorous from the outside, right? And everybody wants to get into it, especially MBA grads. And I'm sure it must have been the same when you were doing your MBA, and it hasn't changed even now. A lot of students want to get into marketing. So what do you think makes it such an attractive career choice?
See, the two things as I see it. One, it's compelling because it sits at the intersection of business, behavior, and culture. And all three being intriguing because you've always seen businesses run around you. You've always been curious about how people behave the way they behave. It's a very
Right.
human tendency, instinct to say, why did he say what he said? Why did he do that? Why is he carrying that? Why does he choose a brand over the other? And the cultural context is that we're all human and that's all this new thing that's happening and there are new trending pieces that come. And what makes it visible is marketing behind a lot of that work in the businesses that happen. But marketing truly doesn't just solve for visibility. It solves for choices. It solves for trust. It solves for relevance.
Mm-hmm.
It also solves for long-term growth of businesses. And in putting all of that, the fundamentals of marketing are pretty much what we've spoken about, saying it's
Yes.
understanding human behavior,
Yeah.
it's asking the right questions. It's trying to understand beneath the surface what is happening. A lot of times there are constraints in making the decision. Now, uncovering those truths and almost what is the peeling of the onion to go down the surface to really realize what has happened is what allows the intrigue. And I think it whets the appetite for a lot of people. And yes, it's glam because there's a
Yeah.
visible part of the fun and the activity, but there's a lot more behind, which is the invisible work that doesn't come through. And what MBA does to build marketing is that it gives you the fundamentals. To build on that is almost like foundational for you to see it with a structured lens of how to operate. It helps you to connect the dots between what people think, what they should be doing, how should the communication be, and what do you help the ideas converting into impact for business. Because at the end, marketing isn't just about activities,
Right.
it's about the impact it creates for business.
So, we've always seen that marketing looks very glamorous from the outside, right? It's like these fancy campaigns, you have events that you're doing. But what does a typical work week or a work day look like for a marketer?
You know, Farhana, one of the biggest misconceptions we've heard in marketing is that it's all about creativity and campaigns. A lot of young kids who come and meet me because they're stuck by the glitz and the glamour of what comes through. But in reality, it's just the visible part. In a typical work day, which is a far more layered and tons of work happening at the invisible end of it, as a marketer, we are doing starting with budget. There is budget planning and allocation. There is media planning and optimization. There is segmentation and customer cohorting and messaging architecture and communication strategy. And in the current digital and AI-enabled world, a lot of real-time pacing of our campaigns where the MarTech allows you to understand human behavior by just testing content quickly, figuring out results immediately, putting them out in the moment and seeing the uplift. There's a lot of A/B testing at play. Now, all of that with AI and technology infusing into it is that it's become a lot faster, but it tells us as marketers to think harder, sharper, nimble, on your feet. And with all of that, at one place, there is the other because of navigating through ambiguity. Because in the real world, messy situations, you're trying to solve for a business problem, bringing it back to a marketing problem, and then arriving at creatively where do you land. But in all of that, when you've had an idea and you've narrowed down on something, you need to work with your stakeholders. There is this whole thing about managing stakeholder expectations, right? And this word which you may have heard of called alignment, right? There is this
very important to align everything.
Oh yes, it's truly the most abused word in the current corporate space, but aligning all your cross-functional teams because it sits at the intersection of sales, products, services, experience, commerce, retail. You have to bring all of it together. A lot of times I feel it's the job of a director of a movie where everybody knows their jobs, but you need to bring them all together. So you can either think the director is the one who's doing the best work or he's the useless chap because everybody else is doing their work, right? But you do need an anchor to get this piece moving. And when the visible part comes together, which is where if you have a print ad or you have an article or a radio jingle or a television commercial or even a tech-based solution, there is a lot of invisible pieces behind it. There's hours of iteration, there is that finding that clever line that
Yes.
marketers live and die
That
for.
particular color, the particular font.
Yes, indeed. And all of it should look consistent, should look pleasant to wear that
Yes.
is. And there are last minute challenges and there are last minute changes, because then
Yes.
there are too many people into that collaborative decision making skills. And when the visible piece comes out, and then it relates to the consumers, to what you've been trying to do, it's incredibly satisfying, because when you see something from inception to idea to execution,
Yes.
and when it comes out and people see to it and they say, yeah, we've seen it, we relate to it, I think that's almost addictive for a marketer,
Yeah.
in probably the best kind of way, that you want to do it again. It
Yes.
makes you want to do again, try this whole again, try something smarter, try something sharper. But in the end, marketing is all about orchestrating this very complex journey, executing with agility and with consistency every single time.
Right. So, of course, it's not as glamorous and as simple as it looks from the outside. There's a lot of complexities involved, as is in many other roles as well. So, when a student wants to get into marketing and they are doing their MBA, what do you think are some of the non-negotiable skills that they need to pick up during these 2 years of MBA?
See, for students trying to pick up MBA as a stream to build on, I think they need to work on the core fundamentals and core capabilities that are required for a marketer. And I think the first and the foremost that comes to my mind is the clarity of thinking. And we were just talking to that, because simplicity is a high order skill required. Real world messy problems, business challenge that you translate down to a marketing challenge, and then you need to break it down even further to say, give it to an experience resource to how to create that experience, or for that matter, to a creative resource to come up with a creative, clever line and a visual to relate to it, or for that matter, for a media to say, where would you find that content and that creator. Now, if you have clarity of your thought, is when you work at giving clarity to all the additional stakeholders. And then again, you need to bring it all back into this hub and spoke, which is you, where everybody does it. The second, I would say, is about genuine curiosity about understanding your consumer. There's a lot of data available, there's a lot of insights available, but I think the deeply human understanding of a consumer is when you observe them, when you interact with them. I feel a lot of times we don't go back enough to meet our own consumers. So to being at the storefront, understanding, having conversations, realizing what their need is, which is both on the surface and beyond the surface of what they may not even inherently realize, I think is understanding the consumer. The third is this ability to connect the dots.
Right.
You have to be able to take the business problem and connect the dots to where it will create impact with an activity. A lot of times we do ideas, we do activities, or we think campaigns, but if they don't realize into an impact for business, it has no meaning, right? And the fourth, I would say, is just this ability to understand data and interpret it. A lot of people shy away from just looking at data. See, data will be available. A lot of AI will be able to put data out to you or even try and interpret. But what you need is a human judgment on how and why of that. It might just bring information to source, but what do you make of it? What is contextually emotional relevance to that entire play is where a marketer brings in the strength. And fifth, I would say, is this whole need to embrace digital and AI because they're here. You'd rather play with it and know how to use that than keep relying on that maybe I didn't have to go to it. And to know when to put that into place, whether it's hyper-personalization or data segmentation or just simulating solutions, I think you need to be a one-up them, because you may use AI for what it can do for you, but I'd only say don't outsource your thinking to it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think, I missed out on communication, because that's the foundational of it. It's the clarity with which you communicate, that you're able to put your point across to a large set of stakeholders that you have to be able to drive value out of it. I think if you put all of these pieces together, which is clarity of thinking, your ability to understand your consumers deeply, your ability to connect the dots and make marketing the impactful conversation for business, use data for interpretation, use AI and tech, and have clarity in your communication. Because all of that is what will give you the confidence and the polish to have a conversation. And in doing that is when you look at how it can work for you as you move ahead.
Right. Now, so we've talked about the non-negotiable skills that students need to pick up. We've looked at the gaps that exist. And now we want to look at, when you're interviewing students or when you're interviewing people who've passed out from MBA colleges, what do you think are what is the major difference between somebody who makes it through and somebody who may not clear the interview?
It's a very difficult answer to articulate, Farhana. But if I was to take a stab at it, right? I think what comes through in practice, what is required when we are judging for young talent, as I may say, is do they have the right thinking on track, right? Because we can teach them the organizational culture, we can get them into understanding what the business is, we can get them to understanding the models and the interpretation. But what we can't build for them and that we'd like to bring them is their ability to think, their ability to sift through ambiguous environments and questions and saying, can they really arrive at where the challenge lies? So essentially, in practice, would you be able to handle a complex problem and break it down and make it simple? And some of the ways that we do that is just curious questions. One of my favorite ways of asking, and understanding a consumer is really for a marketer who's come in for a marketer's job, is to say, help me understand marketing at a very basic level. So my question goes like, if you had to explain marketing to a 6-year-old, what would you say? And I hear crazy responses and I get lengthy responses and I get conversations that go on. But at its simplest, what I'm looking for is, can you simplify something which is so layered as marketing that we spoke about into a very simple conversation, right? And can you look at it from a consumer lens? Because I've given you the task of a 6-year-old. A lot of times the answers you get is marketing and the jargon and the dictionary meanings or the the definitions we've all learned, but not really applying it to a 6-year-old context. And at the simplest to answer that is essentially that you tell the kid that you walk into a store asking for a candy, a specific candy, not just any candy, because you've been influenced with it. Either you have seen it, or you have experienced it, or you've heard someone talking about it, or somebody's recommended it, or you've just seen it somewhere. Now, that entire journey of exposure to preference is marketing. When somebody takes as layered something as marketing, breaks it down that simply, it's fine, because there are no right answers. It's just that you're trying to understand in practice, when you're evaluating them, are they able to understand a catchphrase?
Right? To break it down so simply that even a 6-year-old gets it.
And and if you give the same person a challenge at a workplace, because there'll be all new environments for them, they just need to think smarter, is how we look at it. One of the other questions I normally ask them, which is one of my favorites again, that helps me understand, are they on track to where we think the organizational fit would be, is a simple conversation about, if you had to design an alarm clock for someone who's deaf, what would you do?
That sounds very interesting. So how would you answer it?
See, there are no right answers. That's the first thing. What we're looking for is, are you looking at empathy, which is deep understanding of human behavior, right? Is there problem-solving skill available? Are you looking at the context of where you are? Have you looked at beyond the obvious? Have you looked at the fact that, how does he wake up today? Is he living in a hostel that he needs to be on his own? And then arrive at the solution to say, and take your time to arrive at it. It doesn't have to be an immediate, but you can go through the construct and you can even answer and ask a few more questions about it. Or if not, then create hypothesis, but arrive at it. And then if you land at a vibration-based solution or a light-based trigger or something to do with tech and AI integrated, that's perfect, because one's not looking for problem solving as just an actual output, but the journey you go through in finding that answer is what drives a marketer and a successful marketer in career beyond the other.
So, that's very interesting. And it's also interesting that you've been talking about AI and tech and how it's very important for a marketer to accept that and not
Yeah.
be frightened by it or avoid using AI.
True.
So, of course, you've spent a lot of time in marketing in different companies, different industries. So, in your journey, you might have seen a lot of changes, right?
Yeah.
So, what does the landscape look like now? What are the sort of changes that you see happening in marketing?
In the last 2.5 decades that I've been a player in the marketing world, we've seen the landscape evolving. You're right, but the way it's turned in is dramatically complex and it's also far more powerful.
Right.
The reason why I say that is because, like you said, we moved from mass marketing to hyper personalization happened, and today a lot more trust based, community led conversations. Consumers listen to a lot more of word of mouth and what friends have said or what their passion point communities are talking about. They're well informed. They're also much smarter. They're also much more fragmented. And I think that's what's leading into a lot more of what we are seeing the ecosystem developing with zero click behavior. Right? Or in-app ecosystem. They don't want to move outside, just they're happy being in that app and everything happens. Or community-led. So a lot of gaming community, a lot of tech community, a lot of experience or fashion, makeup related, beauty related communities is where their world has become. And I think that is what has made marketing move from just reach, at a point in time, to a lot more about relevance, about timing, about cultural context, and about this having this world of influencers and key opinion leaders around you to start to influence that. And I think with AI coming in, a lot of that is becoming smarter because there's a lot of data that's brought to you. There's a lot of insighting it does for you. But technology is moving much faster than the actual human behavior can.
True.
Now, that's also true that with the advent of tech, typically you will have a lot more application of AI and tools into the processes and the ways of working. But the way human thinks, whether they make decisions or whether they relate to something or they're making an emotional, rational decision about something like a jewelry, right, will evolve over time. Technology may be faster, but a jewelry will be longer. Something like a consumer durable is on the shelf and it's faster, it's impulse buy, right? Now, a lot of that happens. And what's also started to happen with AI infusion is that most organizations currently have taken this as a group drive, where let's bring in AI, let's quickly change a lot of operations and process, whatever we can do, slap, let's do it. So this make things faster, email compositions and drafters, right? Or make the translation happen or transcribe it. A lot of that is about getting AI into a model that's existing, but they're not re-looking at what it can do for your business. I feel the transformation will also come when it gets into a unit drive, where you're actually looking at saying, don't just create the report for me, but tell me why is this report in the making? Or don't create this ticket don't respond to this ticket to a consumer, but actually go back and think, why is that ticket being raised? What can I do to change in the product or the experience or the customer life cycle where actually this ticket never gets filed? So what can I use AI to do? And which goes back to how the skills are needed when I was speaking about saying, how do you apply AI into your thinking of the business problem is going to become a lot more critical. I hear a lot more about AI in the world because when you have a chatter and this whole concept comes up with saying, will AI take away your job?
Yes.
Will AI replace marketers? And I tell them, no, AI is an enabler. It's what you use as a friend alongside you rather than have somebody that you need to be uncomfortable about. To me, in AI and marketing particularly, it's largely skewed towards content creation, right? There's a lot of people who are creating content with a lot of apps available to you. What it's done, I feel, is democratize creativity.
True.
But it also has raised the bar. It's raised the ceiling to which what a good creative could look like. So it's given you the space where you can actually do far better work. So I feel AI should be a weapon to create something, but it's not your battleground. And in that, what's also evolving, which is very interesting that I read somewhere, is called the human in the loop model. What that says is that AI will bring you speed, will bring you scale, will bring you intelligent personalization, like you
Yeah.
spoke about, right? It will also bring you large scale experimentation. Well, what do you bring in? What you bring in is what AI can't, which is emotional connect, which is brand tone and voice, which is ethical use of AI, because not everything that you can do possibly may not be appropriate, right?
True.
So I think that is where the value of human becomes more critical in that utilization of AI. And more specifically, that I've probably harped a few times by now in this afternoon, is really to talk about the judgment. It's the human thinking layer over whatever data that comes through, because AI can bring out insights, AI can bring out data, but how and why would you sort of feel that's changing? So, is where the judgment comes in. And trust me, judgment's the hardest to automate.
True.
So, over a period of time, if they're able to do human judgment automation, sure. But otherwise, the human behavior and deeply understanding the humans is going to be a critical play. And amongst all of this, a responsible marketer is also thinking through data privacy. He's thinking through platform guidelines, brand restrictions, the ability to be able to connect all of that for a long-term growth. And I think in all of that, with all this coming through, what's also very important is that while there are these charters that will come up about personalization, about figuring out the next big step, the clutter of content that we are creating will also make sure that the brand thinking becomes even more critical.
Yeah, because how do you then differentiate yourself?
Exactly,
right?
you said it. It's
Yeah.
the clarity about the brand identity
Yeah.
will be the differentiator, because everything else has become common.
Yeah.
And I think that's where also, the question about, is that brand marketer job becoming the less glam one? No, it isn't. It's actually going to be packing in a lot more and becoming a lot more critical to success, as long as you're able to bring the whole vision together and give business what it needs, is growth.
So, in light of all of this, do you see newer roles emerging, or maybe older roles sort of making way for roles that can adapt to AI?
Yeah, interesting. See, there's a lot that's constantly changing. See, in the last 2 decades, there are roles that have evolved, there are roles that have stayed. But I think one thing, if I was to narrow it down and just sort of articulate, is that they become more fluid.
Okay.
The learning journeys are not linear anymore. They are across. They just sort of need you a certain amount of range, because a lot of marketers have moved into becoming sales or product head, or they all aspire to become business functional leaders, right? We've also had people who've taken marketing across genres and then played it out. So I see a lot more shift from generalists to specialists.
Okay.
Okay. I see a lot of AI infused consumer journey conversation. I see performance marketing, growth marketing. I see a lot more about artificial intelligence led marketing strategy roles. You also see people where they're trying to relate to data and interpreting data. So a lot of about consumer insighting with data led technologies coming through. But in all of that, what you also have to bear is the most important thing is how, again, do you work with your judgment across all of these? Because some may be fit for you, some may not work for you.
So this is a very interesting sort of evolution that's happening, right? With so many newer roles
Yeah.
coming in. There's AI, there's data, technology, and all of these
Yeah.
things. And of course, the human landscape is also changing.
True.
We have different ways now that Gen Z is coming in, Gen Alpha coming in, everything is changing. So now, when you go to a B school, okay,
Yeah.
how does a B school then keep up with all these changes? What do you think are some important factors that a B school needs to take into account when preparing their students to become future marketers?
See, I think it's a very pertinent question, and considering we're talking about this right now, I feel there's both an opportunity and also responsibility of B schools to evolve as the industry is evolving. Now, we've spoken about a lot more about how industry is doing, but is your curriculum replacing or at least adapting to where the industry is evolving? Because marketing is interdisciplinary. You need to be able to allow for multiple streams to come together and respond. But if I was to answer that in a more structured way, three things that we should be looking for. I think one is being able to put the real world business context into, our studies and marketing streams. And it's real world consumers, it's real classic problems, more hands on training. I know we work with a lot of case studies, but could we work with actual corporates, actual businesses, bring people in, give them that learning and that insight, and look at that, right? I think that is going to be important. The second is just how AI and tech is consumed and deployed, because it's everywhere, it's a reality. Now, are we training our students to use AI tools and technologies better? It's not just knowing the tools, but it's also how do you use that into your thinking? How do you use that into your daily work life environment? Now, a lot of training happens into right prompt.
Yes.
A good prompt that to
you
it,
need
right?
to have the way to sort of ask the right questions.
Yeah. See, it goes back to the whole premise of asking the right questions, right? Now, it will give you a lot of data, but how do you interpret data? So knowing what to ask the right question gives you the right set of data, and then it's a conversation to do. So can we bring that inciting of not just knowing the tools, but also how to use the tools into your everyday environment will be something I feel is a need of the hour. Third, I feel, is because it's interdisciplinary, and you spoke about streams that are, we're preparing for streams. I think this opportunity for marketeers or marketing students for that matter, to also learn across various other streams is because it opens up their world to saying where it's going. There is neurosciences, there is psychology, there is data, there's interpretation, all of that, or statistics. A marketer is using all of it. So if you don't train them today, they will not be able to. So in my head, the B schools have a responsibility of building the students today for future, because as the industry evolves, the student has to learn to evolve. So they need to give them the skills and the capabilities to continuously adapt, relearn, build themselves. So they should be wired to keep pacing.
Yes.
And if you don't, and there's a saying eons ago which said every 3 months you're updating your skills in a digital world, because if you don't, you'll be redundant.
Obsolete, yes.
And that is true today for a lot of our skills, whether we use tech. So I feel the role to play is to make sure that the students that come out are not just ready for the industry or the category, but they're also future forward. They're building themselves up, and that's what I call future thinkers, because we're not looking for industry ready students. We're looking for kids who will come in and think future for us.
So Shilpa, now that you're back in the campus, I would just want you to imagine, what if you were sitting in class today and you're thinking of building a career in, say, marketing, right?
Wow. Okay.
So what would be your key takeaways from an MBA then? What would you do differently, or how would you tackle this?
You know what? If I sort of had to go back and pick that up, I think the guidance that I would have loved to get is more than what you learn, but more your mindset. I think as you prepare yourself to get into that world which is full of wolves, and somebody or the other is going to at some point in time pounce and attack you, are you ready? Are you equipped? Are you skilled to do that? And in my head, that skilling is not just what you read, because that happens anyways. You're prepared and prompted and built for delivering to success, but it's your mindset that matters. I think the first and foremost is to say, don't look at your career as a linear journey, because we see a lot of marketers transcending across businesses and for the good. You may start as a marketer, but doesn't necessarily remain to be a marketer. A lot of them turn into business owners, business leaders. You and I turn from journalists to marketers.
Yes.
So yeah, there is a lot of transformation that happens. I would say try different contexts, try different business models, try different industries, because once you've got the fundamentals of your marketing right, they're not going away. It's like learning a cycle, right? And you never forget it. You will not forget your basic instinct of understanding human and asking the basic questions. So that's not going. The second I would say is embrace AI, learn how to use it, because it's not going away, and keep adapting yourself to what's coming up. So you'll have to stay informed with what's up ahead. And while you learn what to do with AI, don't outsource your thinking to it. Use it to your advantage, use it as your enabler, use it as your companion. And I think you will be further and far more to it. And then I think the third and the most important is the fact that your marketing sits at the intersection of a lot of other disciplines. So finding yourself, connecting and understanding other disciplines and what works for them, and how do you bring it all together to one simplified journey versus breaking down the complex pieces. Because mind you, what happens is other businesses are doing their bit. A product is doing product marketing. He knows his product, he's delivering, he's doing the distribution, he's doing the thing. A experienced guy is creating those great experiences. A retail guy is doing the retail mounts and the put-ups. But there's this one role in the company that's actually putting it all together and make it into one cohesive messaging for the consumer, is the brand marketer, because you own the brand. And once you learn to own the brand, every touch point to a consumer becomes your responsibility. And I think that interdisciplinary part keeps that whole piece alive. And that's where it becomes the most critical role of success for an organization, because consumers are your audiences and the marketer is the stakeholder owning that relationship, right? And I think at the end, it's all about stay curious, stay humble, because marketing will continue to evolve. The landscape around you will be evolving. As long as you are moving with the pace, you are being resilient, you're being open, you're open to possibilities, right? I think that allows you to be successful, because your goal as you come out of an MBA isn't about success in just the first role, right? It's about finding yourself successful across multiple roles, multiple industries over time. And I feel the future marketer and a successful future marketer is the one who's both deeply human and intelligently enabled by technology.
That's very interesting. And
that's what I've embraced. So I'm hoping that turns out right.
So, we've had a really great conversation. Thank you so much, Shilpa, for coming to campus and having this conversation with us.
Thank you, Farhana, for having me here. Thank you for everyone behind who's gotten me here. I think it's a joy and a pleasure to be here. And it does feel very special to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.